Then suddenly I was at the surface. I had exploded back from the water into the air. For a while, I couldn't think of anything, and I couldn't do anything except let out the old breath I had been holding and take a couple of fresh, quick ones and treat water and hang onto that brick. Pond water was trickling down inside my nose and into my mouth, which I hate, but there was air all around and above for me to breathe to live. Dear children, suddenly she was at the surface. She had exploded back from the water into the air. For a while, she couldn't think of anything. She couldn't do anything except let out the old breath she had been holding and take a couple of fresh air. Dear children, the pond water was trickling, flowing down inside her nose and into her mouth. And the narrator did not like that, but there was air all around and above for her to breathe, to live. And then I noticed they were shouting from the bank. They were cheering and shouting, "Sausage, sausage!" And the instructor was hallooing with his hands round his mouth and bellowing to me, "What on earth have you got the sausage?" So then I turned myself properly round. I had come up almost facing the fishermen at the other end of the ponds, but otherwise only a few feet from where I had gone down. So that was all right. I turned round and swam to the bank, and they hauled me out and gave me my glasses to have a good look at what I had brought up from the bottom. Because it wasn't a brick, it was just about the size and shape of one. But it was an old tin box with no paint left on it and all brown black slime from the bottom of the ponds. It was heavy as a brick because it was full of mud. Don't get excited as we did. There was nothing there mud. Dear children, on seeing the narrator, her friends started to cheering and shouting, "Sausage, sausage." What is the sausage? Sausage is the nickname of the narrator. Her instructor also hollowing. Hollowing means shouting with delight. He asked, "What on earth have you got there, sausage? What you have got from the underwater?" She turned round and swam to the bank, and they made noise. They cheered, and they also gave her the glasses to have a good look at what she had brought up from the bottom. Dear children, why did they give the glasses? Glasses here means the specks to her because it wasn't a brick. The thing she brought from the bottom of the water was not a brick. What was that? It was just about the size and shape of one, but it was a tin. An old tin box with no paint left on it. Dear children, the size and shape was like a brick, but that was not a brick. What was that? That was a tin box. And it was heavy as a brick because it was full of mud. What was inside the tin box? Mud. We strained all the mud through our fingers, but there wasn't anything else there, not even a bit of old sandwich or the remains of bait. I thought there might have been because the tin could have belonged to one of the old chaps that have always fished at the other end of the ponds. Dear children, the narrator and her friends cleaned the tin box. Nothing was inside the tin box. She expected something like sandwich or bait. Do you know what is this bait? food placed on a hook or a net to entice fish or other animal as prey. ഈ പിള്ളേരൊക്കെ മീൻ പിടിക്കാൻ നേരത്ത് ഇര കോർത്തിടുകയല്ലേ, ആ ഇരയ്ക്ക് പറയുന്ന പേരാണെന്ത്? ബെയ്റ്റ്. Why did she expect bait in that box? Because that tin box was belonged from a boy who fished at the other end of the pond. It could have been dropped into the water at their end of the ponds and got moved to our end with the movement of the water. Yes, children, somehow the boy lost the tin box from his hand and that fell into the water. And that box moved to this side with the movement of the water. The narrator says that it might have stayed there in the water for many years. I have cleaned the tin up and I kept it on the mantelpiece at home with my coin collection. I had to dive later for another brick and I got it all right without being frightened at all, but it didn't seem to matter as much as coming up with the tin. I shall keep the tin as long as I live, and I might easily live to be 100. Dear children, she cleaned the tin box, and what did she do with it? She kept it on the mantelpiece at home with her coin collection. You can see that tin box in the picture. Then what is mantelpiece? A structure of wood, marble or stone above and around a fireplace. Dear children, at her first duck dive, she got only a tin box. Second time, she became able to carry the brick. But the first experience was a memorable thing for her. She says that she will keep the tin box with her as long as she lives.